So welcome to everyone. We're not going to start just yet, but it's really good to see people here. And I guess if you're here, you're really interested in this subject, which is exactly what we want. And I'll just say at the outset that the course that we're going to be talking about is going to be limited to probably 8 people. Because when we teach mediumship, we really want everybody to have the very best opportunity to develop personally in this subject. And if we had 28 people, yeah, we could talk about it, but we couldn't get you all working and proving yourselves and developing yourselves individually. So we're going to give it 1 more minute to allow other people to join, although I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to lock the waiting room. It's not up to us, is it? So Illuminations, if it's up to you, you can leave it open right through the session, because I don't mind people joining in. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Is it Pierre? Do you know it's Pierre?
Well, it was a thumbs up.
Oh, was it? Okay. Hi, Pierre. How are you? You've got sort of a round blob face in a blue background.
Ah, there you go.
That's okay, I know what you look like anyway. So hi, and hope you're well and everything's going well. So we now have somebody else joined, which is why we kind of leave it open, because things happen in life and sometimes we're late. But unlike the bus, which will depart on time, or the train, we will wait for you. So if everybody's okay with this, and I hope you are, we'll just wait another minute. But we'll catch it up at the end. You're not going to miss anything. We'll add it on at the end. We just want to give everybody a chance, because that's what we want. And that's what life's about, giving everybody a chance. Oh, somebody else. Good. So those of you, obviously you can all see us now. So you might notice that I'm, well, perhaps not by Dubai standards, but I am quite brown. In England, we've had the most extraordinary months of May, and yesterday we had, like, I know it's nothing to you, but we had 32 degrees here and full sunshine.
I think it was hotter than that. I think it was more, getting on to 36. Yeah,
well, whatever, it was really hot.
Whatever it was hot. It was hot for hours.
And we really enjoyed it, and I'm one that worships the sun, so that's what I do. I'm a very natural person. I love the ocean, I love the sand, I love walking on the beach, I love everything natural. So I kind of lap it all up, and hence the colour I am, because I do put factor 50 on to protect myself, but I love it, absolutely love it. So somebody else coming in.
No,
who's
welcome to it.
Oh, yeah, welcome to everybody. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we should probably start. But Illuminations, we really don't mind if anybody joins in along the way, because we'll kind of catch them up as we go. So a very big welcome to everyone. We really like these sessions where we can interact with you. And you probably have guessed, I'm Sandi Mays. And for Illuminations, I do clairvoyant, psychic, and clairvoyant mediumistic readings online. And a typical session is an hour, and it will cover every aspect of you, your energy, everything about you, and those people who you relate to in the spirit world. So, what do you do?
Okay,
what do you do?
I'm Mike Mays, so you probably realised Mike, the name being Mike. And I do deep energy healing and a deep energy psychic reading as part of that healing. Again, it can last for an hour sessions, but we can also do a 30-minute session if necessarily. So that's what we do online for Illuminations, and wonderful it is too. So thank you, Illuminations.
Yeah, this was COVID did this for us. From a major place we worked in the UK, shut right down for COVID. It's still shut right down, incidentally. But along came Illuminations, and could you work online for us? And we're so grateful, and we have been so enjoying it. So we were both trained in mediumship and teaching at the Arthur Findlay College in the UK. And this webinar is an introduction to mediumship, which we describe as the extraordinary and never-ending journey.
Okay. Could I just ask as well that everyone that comes in, just most of you are, mute yourself, because obviously the sound in the background sort of distorts, and we all hear it. But you will be able to. That's it. Thank you. Lovely. Okay. No, I did that. So again, I was trained at the Art Finley College in the UK as well. So if you have any questions at any time, you can use the chat box, which we'll read at the end of the webinar. Alternatively, obviously, you'll be able to ask us questions at the end anyway. So at the end, you can unmute yourself, you can ask questions, because we really value your questions. But obviously, if you leave some, yeah, exactly. And if you leave some in the chat box, I will have a look at the chat box later and just
we'll pick it all up at the end.
So hopefully that'll be okay.
We're not going to pick it up along the way because it's too disruptive, because of we're in the UK. Maybe it's a bit primitive here, but Mike actually has to get up and look at the computer and push buttons.
If I had a big stick, I'll be right.
So everybody has the ability to be a medium, and that includes each one of you.
Okay, so it all comes down to one big word: awareness. However, in the modern world in which we live, it's fast and furious and chaotic. Difficult.
So most people's awareness has been and is being constantly dulled, and their mediumistic abilities, which they all have, which we've just said, are hidden. They're submerged. However, it is possible to activate that awareness and that mediumistic ability in anyone that is curious and wishes to explore it.
Or your own extraordinary and never-ending journey of mediumship can start or restart whenever you choose. Whatever it is your choice. We would like to invite you to take the first steps with us on this journey.
So actually, we're really excited that we do this a lot in the UK and in Australia, but on the 17th of July, we are starting a mediumship development course of 6 weekly 90-minute sessions lasting from 6 to 7:30 p.m. I think you say GST. And this will be our foundation course, which is designed to teach the basic principles of mediumship, and more importantly, to activate your natural abilities.
So you can then decide where you want to go on your extraordinary and never-ending journey that we take you. It's an extraordinary journey because it will lead you beyond your ordinary experiences of life. It's never-ending because we never stop learning. We're always learning, so it's never-ending. We don't stop. You won't stop.
All right, so what is mediumship and how does it work? Now, a lot of people put a lot of complicated things in around this and mask it in mystery. Well, we don't, because there is no mystery. Mediumship is about communication, and it's all about energy and the effect of energy on energy, which is a natural human reaction for all of us. So let's start with Mike and I. We both work with energy. We work with the energy of people, we work with the energy of the universe, and with the energy of healing, which means making better, making whole. My work with a medium, I work with people's energy. In other words, I work with their spirit. I don't work with the faces you present to the world. My energy will penetrate your energy right down to the person I'm interested in communicating with, which is the real person. Again, not the roles you play, not how you present to the world, but who's the person underneath? Who's feeling what? That is what I'm interested in. When I do a reading, I always get down to the real person.
So in my work as a healer, again, I work with energy, the energy of my client, in order to understand their energy and the chakra system, and discover and clear blockages. So I then work mediumistically as a medium, if you like, to link with the spirit, the higher realms, if you want to put it that way, to find out what caused the blockages, and to be able to, you know, not just what caused it, and how they can be prevented next time. So I'd like you to be able to not just find out where the blockages are, but I'd like you to be able to help yourself in this. And I'll pass this on to my clients so that you can help yourself, so these blockages become less.
So really what both of us do, and then what we sort of funnel down to our teaching, it's all about awareness of people's energy and how it makes us feel. So with my readings, how does my client make me feel? How does the energy make me feel? And I read it in these situations online through the vibration of the voice. Not now, because I'm not reading any of you. Well, I might be, but I'm not. That's not what I'm here for. I read it through the vibration of the voice that takes me into the vibration of the energy field. And I'm just checking how it makes me feel. So the start point of all of this, so let's go back to the beginning, because we always have to go back to the beginning. The start point is about ourselves and how we feel, and what affects that position, that feeling in us.
So we regularly, all the time, we're asking ourselves, each individual, how are we feeling mentally? How we are feeling physically, as our physical body, and how we're feeling emotionally. How's that emotion? So we ask that for ourselves all the time, so we know where we are.
So just going aside from that, just for a minute, how often do you all ask in your daily lives other people, how are you? How are you? In my world, people typically say good or I'm fine. That means they haven't actually examined how they're really feeling. But when we ask ourselves, we kind of get that. I do it before every appointment. I do it regularly through the day. And then I allow my awareness to tell me how other people change how I'm feeling in order to read another person living on this planet, or to read a spirit person living in the spirit world or the higher realms, because my energy blends with both of those. You're all blending with other people on this planet all the time, or animals. I'm blending universally.
Okay, so awareness. That's what it's all about. That is the key word. Awareness is the key word.
So what we teach on this mediumship development course will all be about how you are aware of what's going on around you. And the first session of this course will teach you what creates the awareness of the world you live in and how you can control it. And the first point of awareness is very basic, this. It's our 6 physical senses. I always say, and some of you may have heard me say this before, it's the sat-nav of life. So my physical body is carrying my energy field or my spirit through this lifetime, and the physical senses are my sat-nav. So my eyes tell me what I'm seeing. Is it dangerous? Do I need to avoid it? What is it I want to do with it? Is it making me feel good? Is it making me feel bad? That's my sight. And then I hear things. And what I hear, how people talk to me, has an effect. How I feel. And feelings are the next thing, the sense of touch or the sense of the feelings. So, and let me have a look. Have we got any gentlemen here? I don't think we've got a gentleman. So I'll just talk to you ladies. Not sure who Illuminations is, but I'll talk to you ladies and say, if you go shopping for clothes, Are you like me? Do you always want to touch something before you buy it? Do you want to pick it up and handle it? Well, that's our sense of touch, and it has a tremendous input to our awareness. And then we smell things and we taste things. That's our 5 basic senses, which give us our awareness or our sat-nav life to actually steer us through this path of ours. Human beings have kind of forgotten about how to use it properly. We're not listening, we're not really taking it in, we're too busy getting on with materialistic things. Now, we have just over a week ago, we had a little kitten, a rescue kitten delivered to us. Now, this little creature, she's pretty basic and she's pretty helpless, but her sense of awareness is huge. It's massive. She is absolutely relying entirely on it for her survival. And if you watch animals, you will notice that their sense of their senses, they're just using it all the time. And that's what we should be doing in order for our awareness to operate properly.
That's right. They're far more aware than we are. In fact, she's taken over the house as well, so that's awareness.
She has,
well.
definitely.
But never mind that.
It's like having a baby.
So, energy field, that's another one. I presume, I would imagine that all of you know you have an energy field. We can photograph it now and measure it electronically. But your energy field's a big part of us. It's a balance. It's about how we are and what we are. And the energy field plays a really big part in our lives. And it's nice. We need to get that balanced on a regular basis. We need to make sure that energy field is big and not shrunk and tight and disturbed. Again, like the chakra system. Again, I presume you all know about chakras.
But they might not.
They might not.
I think actually people in Dubai are more aware than the people in the UK.
Well, they are actually, but there are 7
Pretty
major
educated
chakras. Major chakras, 7 major ones. So there are quite a few other chakras around, but the 7 major ones there start from the crown chakra at the top, and the third eye, second one, starting from the top line, and then the throat chakra, then the heart chakra, then the solar plexus, the stomach, then the sacral, just below that, reproductive, and then the base. And they all do wonderful jobs. They do 2 jobs. They look after the energy system, the energy field, and they look after the physical body. So if one becomes out of line, if you like, they're like little spinning cogs, it affects the others. So they are like little spinning vortexes, if you like, and they go certain ways, say anti-clockwise, clockwise, the next one, so on, so on. So as you can see, if one goes out of balance, the rest will go out of balance. And it's had massive effects on our body and also our energy field, and we need to keep that in balance. So this is what we're doing for the energies and the chakra system.
So again, it's an awareness thing, but all of that, the energy field and the chakras, are directly related through the chakras to the energy system, to the nervous system. So behind each major chakra lies a main group of nerves, and the input from the energy field and the chakras is transmitted through that nervous system up to the brain. So the brain has now got all this input from the senses, which are also connected to the nervous system, from the energy field, from the chakras. It's all going up to your brain. And your brain is interpreting it all the time. And that's your awareness of this lifetime you are living in, from the moment you wake up in the morning consciously to the moment you go to sleep consciously. But in the interim, when you're subconscious, it's still interpreting stuff. So if you watch exciting TV program just before you try to go to sleep, it's your brain still interpreting it. So always remember that. It's the input. How sharp do you want to be about the input? And what mediumship is about, to get back to what this is about, mediumship is all about interpreting the input from your senses, your energy field, your chakras, and your nervous system. So there's loads there, there's loads of input. The problem is with most people, it's too much. It's like bombardment, and you need to be made aware of how that's affecting you and how you can control it. And then we can wake up your proper awareness and your mediumistic abilities.
So, in the second session, we'll be telling you about the spirit world, if you like, spirit people. Big subject, yes, very big subject, but very interesting. So this is what we'll be doing in the second part, really.
Right, so in that second weekly session, we will be dealing with something we call the backstage crew. So this is all about mediumship. Well, obviously with mediumship, it's all about energy, and the energy is universal. And we need to incorporate the energy of the higher realms. So the only way we can do this is talk about our backstage crew, so you understand. So I'll talk about me because I understand that better. I have a doorkeeper who, when I am working mediumistically and I am reading the energy of another human being or reading the energy of spirit people, he's kind of in charge. I know it's a man because I know who it is, but it doesn't matter if you don't. But that he's helping me with that. He's in control of everybody else. And when I read another human being, I have two ladies who help me with that and point out, well, you might look at that in that person, or ask her if she's eating properly. There's all kinds of things that come in, but it's all guided and steered by my backstage crew. I can't be without them. They are my psychic guides, my mediumistic guides, and I do healing as well. So my healing guides, they're all having this input. And it's like if you see a production on a stage, another thing, if you see an opera singer singing solo in some big venue, you only see the woman or the man who's doing the singing. Behind the person who's doing that performance lies a backstage crew. So that person will have, let me see, their sound engineer, their lighting person. The ladies will have their makeup artist, their hairdresser, and their wardrobe mistress. Sadly, in my profession as a medium, I haven't met any of those. Nobody stepped forward to do that for me. I'm really sorry about that, but that's just a bit of a joke. But I am totally dependent on my backstage crew to allow me to do my work of interpreting other people's energy or the universal energy as a medium. Now, there's a lot of talk about guides, and I think people get guides and angels and backstage crew all a bit muddled up. So my backstage crew is headed up by my doorkeeper. He is one of my major guides. I also have a healing guide, and when I'm speaking publicly, I have a public speaking guide and I have a teaching guide. I'm not quite sure who's in charge here, a mixture of the last two, I think, but they are definitely there, and sometimes they'll change what I think I'm going to say. But that's okay because they know more than I do. So all of you have guides. But remember, guides are there to guide you. So if you go to a new city, let's take Paris, for example. If you went to Paris for the first time, you're not going to have a clue really, except what you've read in a few books or magazines. You'll probably hop on a bus and take a guided tour. So the guide on that tour will say, oh, there's the Eiffel Tower, there's the Louvre, there's the Seine, there's the Arc de Triomphe. And they're going to say different things, but they're only guiding you. They cannot make any of you go back to any of those places and actually do it in detail. Your choice. And that's what I want you to remember about guides. They're there to guide, show you a way, illustrate things for you, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your choice. So please don't think your guides control you. They don't, because you have the wonderful gift of free will.
Okay. So what can I do for us as well, they can do an awful lot, really. I mean, they can help us with the psychic side of it, if you like. You know, psychically, when we're reading from one person to another person, one energy to another energy, they can help us to gain that information. They can help us along the way, if you like. They can guide us. They can give us little clues, little bits of snippets and information about how we're getting it, how we're feeling it through our senses, and what we're feeling. They can also help us spiritually, obviously. The spirit world are very, very clever in working with us and allowing us to use them, if you like, as a channel or for guidance and for information. When we're bringing a spirit person through for our clients, or our sitter, as we like to call them,
or our students,
or even yourselves, it's nice to have this detailed, if you like, information about the person that's in the spirit world, so you know who that person is, so you categorically know, and it's done through the information. So if I gave you whatever information, I don't know, this person had a problem with time or whatever, and you would say, yes, that's absolutely right. So you know that's how it works, and that's how they are. One thing we do need to do is make a contract, our contract. This is what we do anyway. Personally, this is how we work. We make a contract with the spirit world. And I know in Dubai, like everyone else in the world, you have contracts that you work to and from. And we do the same with our spirit, with the spirit world. What we actually do is we decide what we're going to do, how we're going to work. So we make an appointment. Sounds silly. You say in your head, you sit in the choir and say in your head, well, spirit world, I'd like to have a talk to you because this is what I want to do. I want to be a medium. I am a medium. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I need a bit of a guidance. I need a bit of a contract here. So you say, I'll sit for 10 minutes or however long it's going to take at 2 o'clock, say on a Monday. And you do that. And you may have a list of questions that you want to ask the spirit world. And in return, they want to give you something. So if you're not going to make that 2 o'clock meeting on a Monday, it's very polite to tell them, just say in your head, I can't make that one, I'll make it 3 o'clock. You may think to yourself, they should know that because they're in the spirit world, so they're cleverer than us. But it's very polite. If you don't do it, it's not polite. So it sounds silly, but it's not. So you make this contract, and the contract is, like our contract, will be one at a time. Because if you've got an audience of, I don't know, 100 people, excuse me, and you're doing a demonstration, and you've got each one of these people have got 10, 20 people in the spirit world, you've got thousands in theory of people coming through you, all trying to speak at once and all trying to get to their loved ones. It's not going to work. Your head's in a spin, it's a muddle, so we don't want to do that. So we like to work one at a time. The only exception to that will be sometimes you get two people come together, male and female, usually man and wife, will come in together because they've been inseparable in life. So they're pretty much inseparable in death. But usually, if you make your contract right, we'll ask one of them to speak. So that's how that works. And it can be anything from...
Can I use the example of Sunday?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so on Sunday we did a demonstration of mediumship at a church in Brisbane. So we hop around the world with Zoom. We're loving it. We don't pay a penny for it.
Right.
There's no time.
First class as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were reading in Brisbane, and this is the first time we've done it on Zoom. So normally we're used to an audience of, 50, 100 people. We are given colours in an order, and those are the colours of the clothes of the people we are going to speak to that evening as we demonstrate our mediumship. So this is our first time on Zoom, and we are confronted with several screens adding up to about, 60, 70 people there. Oh, how are we going to do this? So I'm talking to Spirit before I do this demonstration, and they gave me the word charm, C-H-A-R-M, and said use those letters against the names of the people that you are going to. So it worked pretty well, but in fact, I think it was no, it was. Oh, yes, sorry, I'm sorry about him. But the second one we went to, actually, and I always say my sat nav might be wrong, but the second one we went to, it wasn't there. And somebody else in the audience said, actually, this is mine. But we like to have some kind of control, orderly system in place when we start to work. And that is a little bit like life in the spirit world. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because if you're going to be on the course, if you want to do the course, or even if you don't, it's quite helpful to know what we're going back to. And life in the spirit world is orderly and calm and peaceful. And nobody is allowed to harm anybody. This world we live in is pretty rough, actually. It's not the best place in the universe to be. But in the spirit world, it's very organized. So when a spirit person has somebody coming to a public meeting and they want to come through to that person and communicate, their guide in the spirit world takes them to the place where that medium, say me, is working. And they're introduced to me, and they can then try to communicate through me to their person here. It's very kind and gentle there when you first arrive, when you've departed from this planet and you arrive in the spirit world. You will be met by people you know. You'll be shown around. It's just amazingly normal and polite. But please don't ever fear it. And that's very important if you're going to work with mediumship. You need to understand there's nothing to be afraid of. And even if you think, oh, I did something bad, well, guess what? You also did something good while you were here, and the whole thing's a balance sheet. It's fine. And the most important thing to remember about life in the spirit world is there is no judgment. You judge yourself. So just hold that close to you. If you're going to take this journey with us, or you're going to start the journey, always remember you will be absolutely looked after by those in the spirit world who have your best interests at heart. Now, also in the spirit world is something which a lot of people on this planet refer to as the higher self. So I'm not sure if any of you know who or what the higher self is, but when we come to this planet, our energy, most of it comes here. So 80% of it comes here. So my energy field contains 80% of my whole energy. 20% is left in the spirit world, and that's your higher self. And that's the bit that knows everything about all your past lives. Got all the wisdom, which is why people strive to connect with it. And we will cover that in the course. And also we will cover communicating with spirit people. And it's just like a phone call, really. But you have to remember some of them are shy. Some of them are not sure they want to say what they're going to say. They're just like people. They are people. We just need to remember that, and we'll teach you all of that. How to be with these people, how to handle them, how to do the best for them, how to bring them forward.
So in week 3, we then move on to the vibrations of the energy field in our world and in the spirit world. Very important. How do these vibrations affect our experience of life? So let's take an example. Say, I don't know, you have a phone call or something, or you're at work or whatever it is, and this person's really angry. And, whatever it is, it could be you actually angry, but say this person's really angry and shouting at you and everything else, and causing you all sorts of stress and anxieties and pain. It's damaging. It's damaging to your energy field. It really upsets you. It hurts you all day, and you think, I've been, this person's done this to me, and it's not right. Okay. So, for example, somebody may bump into you in the street really harshly and walk off and not say a word, and you think, that's sort of got into my energy field, if you like. It's disrupted and unbalanced your chakras. It's made your energy field shrink like that and be really tight. And sometimes it can take a long time to replenish that and replace that, because or rebuild it, if you like, because it's quite damaging, quite destroying. I mean, the other side again is, somebody could be really nice about it, and peaceful about it, and it makes you feel nice. They say, oh, sorry, I really didn't mean that. I really apologise for what I've done. You go, oh, well, that's really nice. What a nice person. And it makes you feel good. So it's a bit like that. So this is how this works. So the importance, I want to get over now the importance of healing and meditation in mediumship. Because again, healing is a big part of meditation, but it's also a big part of mediumship. And it's about balance. It's about balancing out, if you like, that energy field and chakra system and making it whole again, because that's what it means. So it's allowing you to have inner peace, if you like. It's allowing you to feel good throughout the whole day and the rest of your lives. It's allowing that energy of yours to be strong, to be out. And if you're doing that, if your energies and your chakra systems are all working absolutely fine and in the right place, in the right space, you're going to give that to somebody else as well. So just you having the right balance, if you like, in your mediumship will not only help you to help other people in the world, it also helps you to be able to connect and to be with and closer to the spirit world and to your mediumship for your balance and your energy. So again, there will be within this particular week, it's week 3, there will be practical exercises in these subjects, and we will make sure that you work nice and hard, but not too hard. But it will be practical. No, I won't be frightening you, but you'll gain a lot from this, and the practical sides that we do are very, very important because you can feel it and know it yourself. So that's really indeed for you.
And we do find when we're teaching the group on a course that they do over the weeks bond together and help each other and support each other. So it's a nice unit. So we've talked a lot about the spirit world. Now I just want to say that the 4th session of the course will be about communicating with the spirit world. And a lot of people talk about this. That is what mediumship's about. That's what clairvoyance is about. But one thing we will be bringing over in that session is the fact it's a team. So a lot of people think the medium is it. That's what he or she does. They just sit there and they say certain things. It's all about them. It isn't. It really isn't. I cannot do anything with the spirit world unless they cooperate with me. And I can't do anything, and they can't do anything if there isn't mutual cooperation. It's a team. They give me something, I give them something, and we bring it forward to the person here. It's teamwork. It's about expressing personalities and purpose and what the spirit world want. I can't stress it enough. It's a team. And when a spirit person comes forward and wants to communicate through me to a person here to prove that they're still around, they can't do it without me or somebody like me. Because, as we said much earlier on, people's natural abilities are buried and desensitized by this world we live in. So these poor spirit people who are just wanting to tell us they're okay or give us a bit of advice like they did in life, they're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to talk to them? They're not listening. So that's where mediumship is so important when it comes to dealing with the spirit world. It's a team. But equally, when we worked last Sunday and we had, I don't know how many people, 60 people to work with, we can't do without them. You know, we just need their input. We need their help. It's a team. It's a two-way flow. So if any of you are contemplating this journey, just remember you're going to be part of a team. It's not a lonely profession. People think it is. It isn't. There's all these people behind you energetically saying, oh, come on, I'll help you with this, I'll do that. They really want us to succeed and they want us to absolutely help, which is why they want to communicate with us. Now, I have no idea what your abilities are or what you've got, but this planet we live on is the harshest place in the whole universe. And so the spirit world desperately, desperately want to help us to live better lives and learn the lessons we came here to learn. It's like they're sitting over there. They've been here. They've done it. They've got the T-shirt. They've gone back there, and they're thinking, okay, we've got all this experience. How can we help these poor people that are left? That's one of the reasons they want to communicate. The other thing they want to do is remove the fear of death, because a high percentage of human beings are afraid of dying because they actually don't know where they're going. They'd like to think they did, but there's a lot of fear placed in them by different belief systems. And the spirit world just wants them to know how it is. You know, I'll be there to meet you. When you come across, I'll be there to meet you. I'll be on the bridge. I'll be halfway across. I'll hold out my hand. I'll take your hand and lead you across. That is really what it's like. It's an absolutely wonderful world, and that is what we will want to get over to you in that session.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'll pass then, because I don't want any of mine to meet me.
So, so rude.
Yes. Okay. So how do they communicate with us? There's a question. How does spirit world communicate with us?
It's a shame they can't all raise their hands.
I know.
Another chance.
Well, it's through the clair senses and telepathy. So clair meaning clear, the French word for clear. So as we know, they're gonna work for our senses. So let's look at clairvoyance, if you like, which is clear seeing. Clair meaning clear, clear seeing, voyance. That's often misused. A lot of people say, oh, there's a demonstration of clairvoyance or whatever, but a medium might not be clairvoyant. They might not see. So it doesn't matter. And there's clairaudience, if you like, clear hearing. Again, I will say there's two types of clairvoyance. There's objectively and subjectively. So subjectively is in the mind, where you see spirit in your mind. They come into your mind, so you can talk about the spirit person, what they look like, and blah blah blah, etc. Which a lot of people have, most people have. Sandi uses that quite a lot. There's also objectively, so which I use a reasonable amount, and that's seeing outside. So I see spirit in the room, like I'd be looking at you if you had your cameras on at funerals or wherever or whatever, on aeroplanes. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's about how you get that. So we have clairvoyance, clear seeing. We have clairaudience, clear hearing, and again that's the same subjectively or objectively. So some hear in the mind. I tend to hear outside. I'm always saying somebody's speaking to me or shouting at me. There's nobody there, but it really doesn't matter. There's clairsentience, which is the feeling. So you feel how the person is. You feel their pain, maybe. You feel how they've passed. You feel what sort of person they are. There's clairgustience.
Funny word, isn't it?
It is. Smelling. No, tasting. Clairgustience, which is taste. So you might taste. This spirit person might give you a lot of chocolate taste, and that person could have liked chocolates or been chocoholic. Might give you raw onions, which is not very nice, or whatever. But this person liked the taste. Olfactience. Yeah, olfactience is the smell. That's another word. I don't like these long words. Clear smelling, I like to call it, but there you go. Clear olfactience is the smell. People can give you smells of cooking. They can give you smells of perfumes. Yeah, a lot of perfumes, really good one. You can find a lot of that. Tobacco, where people used to smoke an awful lot, so they'll give you that. And then there's the sixth sense, which is clear knowing, and it's one of those senses which is really hard to explain. You don't smell it, see it, taste it, or anything else. You just know, and you just go and give that sort of explanation, if you like, of what this person's like, but you don't know where you got it from. It's called claircognizance, but again, that's a long word, so I'd rather go clear knowing because it's easier to explain. So this is how it is, how they get through to us, how they communicate to us through our senses. Okay.
Yeah, so those are the clair senses, which you might have noticed are equivalent to our physical senses, but they operate at a higher vibrational level because that's where the spirit worlds vibrate. They're higher and finer and faster than us vibrationally, because they haven't got these heavy physical bodies to hold them down. So the clair senses are like the bridge. They bridge the gap between this world and the spirit world. And on this course, if you come on it, you will learn that you have all of those senses, and they will come out naturally in you, and you will learn how to use them. You will also learn about how the spirit world use inspiration with you. So think about that word, inspiration. Inspiration, it's spirit. And spirit wants to help us, as I've said before. But inspiration comes, and it is... Could you turn your microphone off here? Thank you. So the great composers, some of them were blind, deaf, very, very young. They worked on inspiration from the spirit world. So do some of the great artists. Now, I'm not going to tell you that if you come on this course, you're going to start composing concertos and symphonies, because, well, you might do. I'd be very pleased if you did. It's not likely. Or you'll be painting amazing paintings. You might. I paint with inspiration, actually, which is quite interesting sometimes.
Hey, Manisha.
But it is more likely that you will do with us, particularly with me, because I do the inspired side.
Hey, Manisha.
Manira, could you turn your mic off? Could you mute your mic, please? Thank you. You'll probably end
Hey,
up,
Manisha.
you'll probably end up doing inspired writing.
Hey, Manisha.
Inspired. Aisha, could you turn your mic off, please? We've got lots of people joining in now, so it's getting a bit chaotic. I'm so sorry for those of you who've been here for the whole time. So, inspired speaking, inspired writing, and inspired art, which I know about. Could those of you who have your mics on, could you please mute your mics, because there's a lot of people listening. We are nearly at the end of a long webinar. So if you could just turn them off. Be quiet for a little while.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
For those of you who've been here all the time, I'm really sorry about this, but we'll try and get through what we're getting through.
Hey, Manisha.
I will teach you to do...
Michael, please turn your mic.
Manisha. Manisha
Illuminations, if you have control over this, can you mute them, please?
Sandy, tu bhi has.
Okay. So,
Manisha hasri video off karke.
Manisha, video on kar rahe? Loudy.
And there will be practical exercises to illustrate the spirit art. You will also learn to interpret.
Video off karke kaun karta hai?
So just hold on, we're trying to...
She's hosted me.
Oh yaar, banda dekho 3 number camera wala.
Sandi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Sandy, teri mic.
It's not from us. I don't know where they are talking from.
Sandy and Mike.
Illuminations.
That's all right, I can do it.
Just shut them up. Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't shut us off.
Thank you. Is that better?
Okay. You will learn how to interpret the information you are aware of from other people as their energy field blends with yours, and how to pass this on to other people. So to tell them about themselves maybe, or tell them what's affecting them in life, to give them a greater control of their lives. And also we'll teach you how to protect yourselves from the energy of other people in this world, because let's face it, sometimes we get up in the morning and we're absolutely fine, and then we go and have a coffee with somebody and we come away feeling not fine. That's because our energy has picked up from their energy what's going on with them. And the more sensitive we are, the more we're going to pick that up, and we will teach you how to control that. So that's quite a valuable thing, that protection from other people, but also that awareness of other people, so that brings you greater understanding of them and their problems, which is going to make you really good mediums if that's what you're going to do. Because one of the things you have to learn as a medium is how to listen, and also how to understand other people. And that's, you know, just understand how they are, because often people present you with one thing, but when you get your mediumistic abilities finely tuned, you'll know, oh, hang on, that person isn't really like that. They're presenting all showing off and bright and brash and all of these things, and you'll go in underneath and you'll know that person's got a real problem. And that is the skill of mediumship, and it's one of the reasons we teach it. So hopefully you will discover that if you're coming on our course. We'll share that with you.
Okay, so we also teach you to understand the real personality of a person, not the roles that they play, because we all play different roles, but you know, in our lives, because we need to for certain jobs, reasons, whatever. But we'll teach you how to understand that. And as before, there will be practical exercises to allow you to experiment with your growing awareness and mediumistic abilities. So we'll give you that as well on this course.
And finally, in session 6, we will bring together everything we have been teaching you in order to create a holistic picture of mediumship and its many and varied benefits, which will help you in your lives and allow you to help other people. Because it's, again, it's a team thing. It's some of you might do the first course just because you're curious and you want to know, and you'll create in yourselves different awarenesses, wanting to do different things. I know when I started this, I just wanted to be in touch with somebody in the spirit world of mine. That's all I wanted to do. But as I did some training, I suddenly realized that there was more to it. It was teaching me a bigger picture. It was giving me a huge, detailed awareness of my life and my experience of it. And that was really wonderful. But then the next thing that happened to me, and it might not happen to you, is I decided I wanted to pass this on to other people. This is how I came to be a teacher of it. It's definitely worth exploring.
And at the end of the course, you will receive a certificate of achievement, because you would have done very well, and competence from our charitable trust, Rainbow's End in Roseland. At that point, it will be up to you what you do next. So you may wish to absorb and process what you've learned and all this information for a little while. You may want to move on to our advanced course, which is also very good, which will deal with
How to pass
that on, if you like, to other people, how to use your new awareness, if you like, and the knowledge to help you help heal others and or do readings, whatever you wish to do. But we will do all that on the advanced course as well, if you wish.
See, this is why we call it the extraordinary and never-ending journey. Everybody's journey is different. It's unique to you. You can do as little or as much as you want. But there's one thing about going on to the advanced course. It is necessary if you wish to use your abilities with the public, because there are many things to be aware of when we are sharing this with the public. Sorry, we may have a technical problem here.
With the other people, see.
Unusual. Yeah, don't need them all. They've all got, no, the others have gone.
Yeah, can I do it?
Don't know.
There you go. Now participants. Okay.
Right, there's a lot of red things. I mean, I'm just hoping there's been some technical problems. I think some of you haven't been able to hear a bit of this since we had that interference because we had to mute some people. We might have muted too many, including ourselves. So, yeah, we've now covered the first steps of the extraordinary and never-ending journey. But what I was saying just now is that it is extraordinary for everybody because it's just out of the ordinary. It lifts you out of the ordinary experience of life into another experience where you can be aware of other people, really aware of their feelings, their needs, more aware of yourself, all of those things. This will all be covered in the first course, but the other point I was making, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself because I'm not sure what you heard, but this is a really important point. If after learning all of this, you want to go and do this with the public, you have to learn how to do it because there's more to doing it than just giving it out. We have to be aware of the effect we're having on others. It carries a responsibility. It's not a heavy responsibility so long as you know what to do with it. But in order to allow it to heal people, empower people, and enhance their lives, we have to know how to handle that. And that is what we teach in the advanced course. So I think we've probably covered everything. I'm so sorry for all the interruptions, but we now want to allow you, because we've given you loads of information, we want to allow you some time for questions. And we will let this run over a bit, we're allowed to, just so that that can cover that.
So you can unmute yourselves now if you want to.
You looked at the chat box.
And if you want to ask a question, I'll have a look at the chat box. But if you want to ask a question, please do unmute yourself and ask a question. That'd be really good. The only reason we had to do this, obviously, there's a few silly people, but trying to disturb us. Gate crashes, yes. But please unmute yourself.
Yeah, you get those from the spirit world sometimes, and that's why your doorkeeper is important. Just one more thing I wanted to say is that on this course, the numbers will be limited to 8. Because particularly when we're teaching on Zoom, we want to be able to give sufficient one-to-one attention to all the students so we understand their individual needs, their individual problems, whatever it is. So that is, don't think you'll be part of an enormous group and left out. You will not. So, Mike, have we got any questions there?
It doesn't seem to be. It's mainly about.
Does anybody want to ask any verbal questions? So speak up now if you have a question. Don't be shy.
Hello.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please. I'll go after. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go on.
No, I'll go after. No worries.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No. Go on. I'll wait.
No, really.
Is it Suzanne going first?
Yeah.
I think it is. He's first.
Okay. Hi, Mike and Sandy.
Hi, Suzanne. Nice to talk to you again.
Nice to see you online. I wanted to ask you, I'm going to choose one of the questions. It's sometimes possible or very possible, I guess, that like spirits don't stay always in the spirit world for a long time. So it depends on the spirit and the karma they carried down here when they were in another body. So you're going to communicate with a spirit that has already taken a new body. then it's
All
not
right,
possible.
that's what I was talking about earlier on,
Yeah.
Suzanne. When I said about your higher self, that is the 20% of you that is left in the spirit world. So everybody
20%
has
is left.
at least 20% in the spirit world.
Oh,
And then that is why it is possible to communicate with anybody and everybody. So that's the
even
highest.
when they have taken a new body. Okay.
Yeah, only 80% or roughly that will come down into the body, into the physical, the new physical. The rest will remain in the spirit world. And when you go back to the spirit world, that is what you're reunited with. And that's when you get the wisdom of all your lifetimes. But when we come to this
okay.
world, we don't have that. Does that help?
Yeah, Lord. I didn't know this part. I never heard of this part. Thank you so much.
That's okay.
That's all right. It's a pleasure. All right. So who was the gentleman who was being very polite and saying, was it Hashita? Who
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a gentleman. Okay.
Oh, good.
So, okay. So I have to ask that what is astral projection, and this is I have read about that. So yeah.
You say astral projection or astral travel?
Astral projection or travel, I don't know.
All right.
You
It
can
is.
tell.
I have a little bit of experience of astral travel, and that is when, or projection, if you like. So here we all sit in our physical bodies. We can see our physical bodies. Around each body is an energy field, and that is our spirit. It is possible in deep states of meditation, and if we've left our body in a safe place, we can request that we travel astrally. We can request that our spirit travels to other places in the universe. But it is not to be played with, because we must make sure our physical bodies are in a safe place, because our energy field or our spirit is attached to those physical bodies by the silver thread, as they call it, or the silver cord. So we may go an astral travel if we wish, but it is not particularly easy to do. It can be achieved. I've done some of it. It didn't particularly appeal to me to keep doing it, but it is possible. So that's what it is. It's when your energy field.
I have read someone saying it's totally demonic and all this stuff.
No.
What about?
And that is where the doorkeepers come in, our protectors in the spirit world. If we are doing it for good reasons, like we want to learn something to bring help to somebody else, or we want to learn something for our own spirit's expansion or education, and that is a good motive. It is a good reason for doing it, and we will always be protected. If we are doing
what is doorkeepers?
Doorkeepers, maybe you missed the
some
beginning.
sort of angels or what?
They are guides, and everybody who works with mediumship has a doorkeeper, and the job of the doorkeeper is to protect us, make our work easy and smooth, providing we are working with the right intention. So I'll give you a very simple, quick example. If a group of mediumship students decide one night they're going to sit together and have a bit of a party, and they're going to play with a Ouija board or something of that kind, and there's a few bottles of alcohol involved, it becomes a bit silly. They're doing it to play or for amusement. Then they are unprotected. Then anything can happen. It's like having a party where you get gate crashers. So when we work, like we worked on Sunday, there was nearly 80 people we were working with, so potentially you could have 8,000 spirits all wanting to come through. Our doorkeepers were protecting us because we were doing it for the good of those people in the audience. We wanted to help them.
And he would only allow one because that's our contract at a time. It's a bit like in a delicatessen. Sometimes, I don't know if you've got it there, but in England, you go up and you take a little ticket and they say, you're next in the queue by your number. It's a bit like that. So they're very structured.
That's because we work with integrity, and our intent is, as with our charity, it is to bring fulfillment and help and comfort to mankind. That is our intent. If we broke away from that and decided to do something, mucking about with it, fiddling around, playing, showing off, and showing off is another one. If mediums try and show off and get egos too big, everything's taken away from them. You are unprotected. But anybody who comes on this course will come on it because they have the right intent, which is to learn, so you are protected. If at the end of the course you decide you're going to take what you've learned and do something flippant or funny, or I don't know, yeah, funny will do, with it, then your protection is removed. But so long as you work the good of humanity, you will always be all right. So I hope that helps.
You told about helping in astral projection. What
Andy,
help you can
Wendy,
do in
Sandy.
astral projection?
So I think I've dealt with astral projection. It is just letting your spirit travel away from your physical body. It is in a way, Hashita, another subject. We don't study astral projection or astral traveling on our course. Now, if you want to email me about this, ask Illuminations my email address and I will answer you by email. But in fairness to everybody else here who wanting to learn about mediumship development, which is a bit simpler than astral travel and projection, I think I need to move on to someone else, if you don't mind.
I think there was Jack Mayer.
But please get my email address from Illuminations and I will speak to you that way. So thank you for the questions. Now, who's
Jack
next?
Mayer.
Jack, is it you? Is it Jack? No, everybody's got. Oh, who's that? All right. Has anybody else got a verbal question? No. Okay, so we are over time, which isn't anybody's fault beyond that of the gate crashers, if you like. I've got a few questions here.
I tell you, someone got a hand up.
Who's that? Go.
Manisha.
Manisha, you have a question?
Yeah, show your tits, bitch.
Pardon? Okay.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay.
Right, no, so we have another
Gate crasher,
invader. Another invader here. So okay. I just want to finish off with we've got a lot of questions that we've written down, which we've had from other sessions. One of those questions, which I just want to deal with briefly before we thank you all for coming and then go, is how does religion fit into all of this? And it does. We acknowledge there is a creator. We don't give that creator a word attached to a particular religion, but we do acknowledge the presence of a greater power than us. We acknowledge that this universe is created by a power quite beyond anything that we are capable of on this planet. And we personally have a great respect for that. And we teach our mediumship students to have that same respect for the divine, for the greater power, for the creator. And that we are all here to help everybody else. That's all we're here for. We need to lend a helping hand along the way to those who are perhaps struggling with their lives. But we personally always acknowledge that there is a greater power than ours, and it is to be respected. So that was just covering a little point that tends to come up at these sessions time after time. So I think we do have to go now.
Okay.
I think we've been in this room long enough. We're probably going to get thrown out in a minute anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for listening,
thank you
everybody.
so much for coming.
Thank you for your interest and some of the nice questions that we had. That's very good.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. And I really hope we'll see some of you on the mediumship development course, because it's something we really, really enjoy doing. And again, any questions that we haven't answered or you think of afterwards, get our email address from Illuminations and we will deal with it. Promise you.
Thank you to Illuminations for
thanks for bearing with us. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye everyone and God bless you.